Force. I'm with the Water and Environmental Technology program at Clackamas, the department chair of engineering, but we teach water and wastewater for us. And here, as part of our educational focus area, or what's a new EFA, which is basically grouping our career technical programs, we have Jim, and it's, hit me with the, I know it's a double hyphenated.
It's a Wentworth Plato. It's a really
Plato. I like that. Thank you.
I take care of I'm the arboriculture lead faculty, so I'm everything having to do with trees. But the other part of horticulture is organic farming, greenhouses, landscape design. There's quite a few branches that you can go into, certificates and degrees.
And on my screen below him is Kara Leonard, who is the advisor. So she is the person when it comes to classes, enrollment, everything. She is the lead academic advisor for our cohort. So we'll just kind of talk a little bit about what EFAs are, what's available. Then from there, Elizabeth, I'll throw my sales pitch since we're recording it about water and wastewater, and then I'll turn Jim loose on you. So, what are these natural resources educational focus area? It really, in my mind, is an opportunity for the college to put together some of our career technical programs that are like-minded and similar, and group them as a possibility for students to be looking at them and to get them some exposure. So in our area, there's the scientific, there's management principles, and I think all three of our disciplines in this are very career-based. We're trying to get you not a job. A job is one thing. A long-term life career in a field that you love is what all of the faculty's goals are. So, if it is protecting the environment, as well as natural resources, that's kind of our passion and focus, or in my instance, protecting public health. But all of those, it gives you that ability to have a career technical program that leads to a great job outlook with livable wages in something that you love doing. And I think that's what everybody should want. So what are the programs that are involved? We'll dive more into them specifically. But on the Hort side, as Jim has already mentioned, we've got arboriculture, horticulture, landscape management, organic farming, and he's going to talk more about those in detail. We have the Water Environmental Technology program. We have also Geographic Information Systems for more the computer side of things, and then there's Wildland, Fire, and Forestry. And so in a way, our EFA, we've kind of joked about it being like Earth, Wind, and Fire, because it really is folks that are considered with, the water can put out, the trees have to grow to get chopped down that cause the fire, and the water comes on top. So there is this approach to having all of these topics kind of related. And more importantly, right now, and you'll see shortly, I think all of us can agree that we're seeing the problems with wildfires. That is a job career that is exploding, just unfortunately. We're seeing it firsthand. Okay, water and wastewater, you can't outsource these things. Same with horticulture. These are career paths in this natural resources EFA. These are jobs that aren't going to be outsourced. And that's an important thing, because you come into the field, you work for a little while, let's say it's manufacturing, and then all of a sudden that heads somewhere else. So there are transfer opportunities with horticulture, that there's partnerships where you can, continue on to Portland State, Oregon State, OIT, Western Oregon, and U of O. And I'll let Jim, when he takes the lead, kind of be able to dial more into that if you have questions about it. And then we have a lot of clubs, student chapters. We're very active, whether it's the horticulture and our Water Environmental Technology student chapter. There's the National Collegiate Landscape Competition. We have, we try to help students with certifications in water and wastewater. So when you're done with our program, you're able to be an operator in 39 states, FEMA certification, and then again, National Wildfire Coordinating Group certification. So in addition to getting degrees through the programs, all three of these programs, I think there's a lot of certifications that we try to bolster your resume so that when it comes time for you to be hired, you're marketable, knowledgeable, employable, and you then become, a lifelong employee in the field. So the nice thing is, all three of our programs now, because the college is kind of organized into EFAs, we have advisors. Kara, who's the hiding the laundry, but has the ability to have the back screen that we're all envious of, that we're all supposed to have, is there, and she can answer any questions, as well as faculty. We're a little bit more interesting, where we want to help you any way that we can, and we work really well in unison with Kara to ensure that your questions, whether it's classes, anything that you have, you're helped, because that should be, in my mind, that is our job. We're here to help you to get through with the program. So, I was going to jump into the water side of things, but I feel like we're at a good, like we now have, we have any more folks who've come in. We've got a couple more. Jaden's iPhone has come in, and Leslie has come in. Are there any questions so far, as we just talked about the EFAs with Jim for Hort here, myself, Matt LaForce for water, and Kara Leonard as an advisor? But at this point, who has a wonderful question that we can help to answer? Anyone want to unclick that mute button and just chime in?
Or you can use the chat feature as well, which I'm monitoring. That's my job. So give me something to do. I'm just kidding. If you guys don't have a question, that's okay.
If there's no questions on that, what I'm going to do is dive into basically the sales pitch for the field that the Water Environmental Technology program at Clackamas, and then I'll turn it over to Jim for the Hort side of things. So, for our Water Environmental Technology program, I think that it's a 400, excuse me, my scale's off. $400 billion industry. This is the third largest job sector in size behind electricity and oil. So you think about the monopoly board. There's always waterworks in there, right? There's the railroads. So we are right in there. And I don't think people give us enough credit with respect to how many jobs there are in this sector. There's only one thing that we need as a human being, and that's water. That's it. One thing you need to survive. You need food, you need shelter, but you need water. And without water, you're not going to make it. And when 75% of all human illnesses on the surface of the earth currently today are caused by waterborne illness and not clean water, I think we can all kind of sit there and go, yeah, clean water is important. And the field and the market is really booming right now. So when you come through our program, just like Hort, just like Wildfire, we're trying to get you not only the degrees, but we're trying to get you certificates. Certificates allow you to practice within the field, and it opens up opportunities and doors. So we have an associate's degree. You can stay with us for 2 years. If you don't make it through 2 years and you get a job after 1 year, get a 1-year certificate. Here's your degree. You're out the door with a job. If you leave before the 1 year, you can always come back and try to finish off that degree. We also have a less than 1 year certificate in high purity water. So we're finding that Intel has been growing tremendously, and they are hiring a lot of our students to make a very specific type of water in the microchip industry. So we provide that unique training in our program. Job market looks outstanding. I think the quote, there's about 9,200 jobs in this sector. But if we just look at, let's say you want to say California, Oregon, and Washington, basically in the next 3 years, we're anticipating about 25%. They're calling it the silver tsunami. It's already been named. And basically we're going to lose 10,000 employees, which means 10,000 new employees, i.e. you, coming through our program, will have the opportunity to immediately get into this job market, because it is really outstanding. So the next question typically students ask is, okay, is there a job for me? Yes. How much do I make? Show me the money. Well, if you're money centric, that's fine. Typical starting salaries in 2020 are about $46,000 a year in wastewater. On the water side, this thing's got a timer on it. On the water side, you're looking at about $43,000 a year. I will say that is according to the labor metrics that is put out by the nation. This doesn't include overtime. I had a student who graduated in 2019. I talked to him today. His starting salary he's got it up now in 2 years. He's moved up. It was $70,000 last year. He's about 19, 20 years old, and he had to fill out taxes for the first time and run through that. So, these are career salary type position. Earlier in the second meeting you all were at, they talked about scholarships, and I'm sure Jim and will echo the same. 90% of the students in our program get some kind of scholarship from our program. We have, endowments that have been given to us, and we're trying to make sure that those get in your hands. So those scholarships have to be applied for. So make sure that you do that. I think that's where they ended the second breakout session. And I want to enforce that by saying, look, just apply, because trust me, Clackamas tries to help students financially with scholarships. When it comes to the job market, we're averaging about 85% of our students get a full-time career. So I have placement numbers. I'm not throwing smoke like, oh, everyone gets a job. No. But when we say 85%, we consider it, in our field of water and wastewater. To get your certifications, you do have to, you have to pass nationwide exams, and our students pass at a 90% rate, where other folks don't pass these exams. It's like the bar exam. You have to have certs to get, potentially into some of these jobs. So there is a certification part of our training, and the results are very good. All the students are in active student memberships to form our cohort, and the young professional meetings are outstanding there. It's 2 instructors, or really 3, that will take you through a whole 2-year degree. So you'll know us for all the labs, all the instruction. We teach math, I teach chemistry, I teach everything's applied. So if you like science, but you never understood why it's important, that's our role, is to make sure that we teach you to see the importance of having these math skills and how they translate. Classes typically are in the evening. We have brand new, the Jardin Hall, which is brand new with some brand new equipment. So we really have some state-of-the-art instrumentation to share with you. And you have to go out and do the job. There's a mandatory workplace internships, 2 of them. So you have to go out for a full semester and walk the walk and talk the talk. And that gives you an opportunity to actually see what the career is, get trained normally by a former student from our program who's out in industry. And you learn by doing. And that's an integral part of the career technical program for water and environmental technology. And that's the one that leads to jobs. Lifelong careers, Indeed. We even have a Facebook page where all of our alumni for the last umpteen years communicate jobs, communicate opportunities, training. It's a nonstop message board for our students who are in the program, as well as alumni to interact. And again, Indeed.com is the great spot for just water and wastewater. So you can currently search and see the job that's opened in Fairview, Gresham yesterday, and see what the pay would be, and get a feel for some of the qualifications. So, water, wastewater, in our field, to kind of summarize, if you like environmental stuff, look, the effluent for the wastewater treatment plant goes into the river, Clackamas River. Right across the way is the intake source for the drinking water supply. So if you don't clean up the wastewater, you're going to contaminate the river that we're all drinking from. So there's a true environmental stewardship in the program that we have to protect public health. If you like science, wastewater is all microbiologically driven. These are critters that you have to grow up. You are an organic. Jim's going to talk about farming. In this field, you're an organic farmer that is farming little critters to eat things that we don't want to go into the river, and you're monitoring their well-being and their status. So you have that microbiology. There's pure chemistry involved. There's math as well, engineering, civil. I mean, any type of engineering that you can envision, they have electrical engineers at all these plants. There's the outreach component for physical, for human relations. And also we have IT. If you like computers and GIS and IT stuff, that's part of this. Analytical labs are another part of it. If you are good with, there's a maintenance position currently open. So if you like doing things with your hands. So this field can basically take anybody. And I've had former bartenders that became, operators, because they had good people, human relation skills. So, any skills that you may have had, we try to work with those skills to get you back into this field and get you a lifelong career. And the same goes for kind of all of the programs in our EFA. And without any further ado, I will turn it over to James, and Jim will talk a little bit about what Hort's got for you.
All right. So moving along with our little presentation for you. I heard earlier that Elizabeth was interested in the horticulture field didn't sound like you were for sure what exactly you wanted to do, I'll run through a couple things pretty quick and then ask some questions and I'll answer them. So a couple of highlights. First is that Oregon's the third largest agriculture producer in the US. That's kind of impressive. And there's lots of jobs available, particularly after COVID. Everybody had to stay at home and everyone started landscaping their yards. So there are tons of jobs available in the landscaping industry. We've got a lot of lab courses where you're going to be able to learn by doing, which is pretty nice. You get to operate larger equipment. You get to be in greenhouses that have most of the operational irrigation systems currently in use. We have a state-of-the-art seed refrigerator. We do propagation techniques. We are members of shucks, I can't remember the name of it. One of the display gardens on our campus is actually a study garden, which is pretty interesting. Let's see. What else? Oops, sorry. In the farming degree, you are going to be learning how to provide food for yourself and your community, which is pretty rewarding. And like Matt said, we do actually get concerned about the chemistry in the soil and the biology, the microbiology of the soil as well. There's lots of fungal pathogens and things like that that you're going to study about. You'll learn about insects, you'll learn about plants, you'll learn about operating equipment like tractors. And you'll learn from Chris Kanishka, who just recently got back from sabbatical. He's got a lot of cool experience working on farms all over Europe. And you'll be able to participate in our farm on campus. It's only a 1-year certificate, which makes it pretty nice and easy to accomplish. In the horticulture degree, there's a couple different focuses for you, or foci. One is a greenhouse or horticulture degree where you'll be learning with Frank primarily. He's got a lot of international experience in the greenhouse industry. So he's worked with a lot of floral arrangers from the South. He's been, like I said, all over. He's got years and years of experience. I've been working in the arboriculture industry or tree care for the last 20 plus years. I've owned my own company before that. I worked for other people. I'm one of the first master arborists in the state of Oregon. So that's kind of fun. We get to do, oops, I went the wrong way. I was just going to say how good I am, and then I'm going the wrong way in my presentation. We've got graduates. Because we've both been around for a while, we have a lot of industry connections. And as a result, like Matt and his program, our programs tend to get people hired fairly quickly. In fact, some of them even get people hired before they're even finished with the degree, which is pretty darn nice when you are trying to pay for that degree. Cost-wise, some of the degrees are 1 year, some are 2-year degrees. So different times. I think the longest one is 98 credit hours. I'm not 100% certain on that. Let's see. Oh, and then there's landscaping. So all of the degrees are going to share a common core of plant biology, identification of plants, pests, pathogens, the systems to maintain the optimum health of the plants. And then we're going to go out in our labs and actually do things, which is great. You get to experience a lot. The last year, we've done a lot online, which is more difficult, but hopefully next year, you're going to be able to be on campus and participating more in actually growing things. And like Kara was saying earlier, we do have a pizza oven on campus where some of the things we grow, we throw on pizza and have cookouts. So hopefully we'll get to do that again next year when we're all together. We've got a couple of Facebook sites for you: CCC Horticulture Club or Arboriculture at CCC. When you click on them, let me show you this. Here's one, the CCC Horticulture Club. Just a little joke for you. But scrolling back up, there's some other good information. And now I'm not seeing it. Oh, here you go. Up here at the top where it says more, when you hit the more and look at the community, you'll find out what students and other people that have been in the program find out, or what they're saying about us as well. So that's kind of interesting. And the arboriculture one, same thing. We get past students and industry people posting on our website, as well as ourselves. We don't have a ton of posts lately because, like I said, we haven't been able to be on campus, which is unfortunate. Next fall, we will be back on campus doing some classes. So that'll be fun. Here's the final slide for you. The additional resources we have on campus. A great land lab. We have an arboretum right on campus. We have working farm. We have 3 or 4 different greenhouses, some of which are just shade houses or hoop houses. Some are actual greenhouses with different irrigation systems. Lots of different powered equipment, from chainsaws to tractors to skid steers and chippers. Inside our building, we've got a great resource library with lots of books that are hard to find or are really expensive that you can just come in and read anytime you want. And like Matt said, we also end up trying to give scholarships to every single person who applies for them. And that's usually possible. We rarely end up being unable to give somebody some scholarships.